anti-textbook?
Well, it's, you know, I've got, I'm in awe of the director's craft. I've spent an entire lifetime, right, trying to understand it from all points of view. And so I bought all the textbooks, right, I'm still buying them, but they would leave me, despite the fact that they were really well written by really smart people who know what they're talking about, I could not translate it into my work, right, in a regular basis. So essentially, what I did was I wrote something that you could keep in your back pocket on set. It's a field note. And I distilled what I consider the 70 maxims that cut to the heart of what it takes to make a good movie. Those are the same maxims I would keep on the back of my binder whenever I was working on set. So I could just, every morning I would pull those out, right, distilled to their essence, they're quick to read. I could just read through them and kind of keep me on track. And throughout the day, you can flip through them, right, and just things about leadership, camera placement, working with the actors, those things that, I'm always really jealous of the DPs have a little book, I think it's right, so I want a little black book too. So I keep my back pocket, maybe they'll get jealous.
Well, I read several of those maxims. Number 22 is select locations that tell the story. Mm-hmm. And here we are at something that's very much about location. Can you tell us a little bit more about that maxim? What do you mean when you say
sure.
select?
Well, I think it's something that translates also to writing, right? We really want to select our locations that provide us with cinematic opportunities to tell a story effectively. You're choosing locations that are not just going to provide you with the look of the place, but any sounds that are organically going to come right in those visuals, right? Colors that are going to be present, people, cars, anything that's going to actually help you tell the story, like the light, camera, sound, sound effects, anything that's going to provide you with what you need without having to impose it on the story later. So I think even as early as writing, we're looking to kind of put those tools in play. And then when you're out, certainly if you're out location scouting, as you move to a shooting script, right? Because most scripts are written to be sold, right? So they tend to be more dialogue heavy. You're not necessarily going to kind of clutter the pages with all the other information you would use in a shooting script. But when, as a director, you take that job on, you now have to go from what was written to be sold and read to now written to be watched in the theater. And those choices are the ones we make moving to a shooting script. So you may take liberty, right, to move something to a specific location that provides you with the shooting tool that you need.
Fascinating. Now, is that in the documentary world? You may not be able to pick and choose your. You may be able to pick and choose your locations, or it may be where your subjects are. How does location play into telling a true story?
Yeah, well, we put a lot of thought into where our interviews are taking place, and sort of composing the backdrop of the interviews. We use the Interrotron, so the interview storyteller is speaking directly to camera, and so
I'm not sure folks might
not
know what that is.
And Interrotron, it was a technique developed by Errol Morris, and we sort of co-opted it a little bit, where there is the documentary storyteller is speaking directly into the camera lens, but there's like a screen in front of that is basically, there's another camera pointed at the director, and when the documentary storyteller is looking at the lens of the camera, they're actually seeing the director's face, so they're able to have a conversation with the director, and as an audience member, you feel like they're speaking directly to you.
So it's kind of like, we're all familiar with the Zooms, but everybody's eyes are kind of off on the camera, and you never feel like they're
usually
looking right at you.
many documentaries are filmed with off-axis interviews. So it's just a technique that we've really found to be quite compelling in terms of connection with the storyteller. But yeah, we put a lot of thought into what goes on in the background to sort of draw focus. It's all about the storyteller for us, so it's really about drawing focus into the story, the framing of their face, so that you're really getting their facial expressions as they're telling their life story.
Yeah. So you are known as the home